Hey y'all, how you doing today? So before we start really fast, let me just say the double Laharl account did get claimed, but I am going to be doing more banner rerolls and holding on to the rerolled account. So don't get discouraged if you didn't get that one, because I'm going to be rerolling more during the banner, just basically rerolling all the time, getting as many accounts as I can, and then I'll be posting the accounts that I reroll in my Discord. In short, I'm going to reroll an account, see what it pulls, post it in like a reroll channel in my Discord, and I'm going to have a little code underneath it. If you want a certain account, then Friday I'm going to be posting a reroll video where I like showcase all the accounts and the code for each account. You leave a comment on that video on Friday with the code in the comment of the account that you want, and then Monday I'm going to have like the comment picker pick a random comment for every code, and you could win an account. So I'm just going to try and accumulate as many as I possibly can during that time. So if you still want a rerolled account, that could be a possibility. Alright, so let's get on with what we're doing today. Just like yesterday, whenever we were checking out the upcoming characters, gauging their effectiveness based on their stats and abilities, etc. So yesterday we did the first row, now let's go ahead and move on to the second row. Of course, we'll keep our base Laharl up there to compare everybody, and we will start with Asuka Crane Kick. What a name, okay. So all in all, the stats seem a little bit underwhelming, except for, you know, she has a decent HP and a good speed too. Looks like we're going to be weak to ice with this character. Weak to ice, I can't really talk, Jesus. Okay. What do we got? Spear guys, speed plus 12, spear equipped members as P cost minus, damage taken from sword enemies minus 50%, and all members plus 16% attack when battle begins. The only one of these I'm seeing that I would really like is the Nether Enhanced plus 7, all members attack plus 16 when the battle begins. Starting with an attack buff would be pretty cool, but at the same time, all the other stuff, like, you kind of want something useful too, right? All of that is pretty specific to requiring enemies to be using swords and requiring your team to be using spears to actually take control of that. That's not really on my list. First of all, we have a 20 cost AoE, so that's a great start. We have an AoE and myself for a speed buff. That's pretty nice. A 35 cost or a 55 cost speed buff. And these also do damage. So those are pretty cool. We got wind focused abilities on the magic spells. So that's that could be a little bit rough. By the way, real quick, for those, I got a comment yesterday saying, why am I even worried about physical attacks on a magical attacker? Why am I even worried about magical attacks on a physical attacker? Let me tell you a story real quick. Take less than 20 seconds. Once upon a time, there was a game named Summoner's War, and the main character that you pretty much started off with as a starting character was called Lapis. She was an attacker unit who had a bunch of area effects with every attack. Basically, her attack was too low and her damage wasn't high enough to really do a lot of killing blows as an attacker. But what did we learn like 4 years down the line is you can actually build her as a tank and then put her with certain sets of equipment that would cause her to counter the enemy and stun the enemy with area of effects every attack, thus making her one of the top rated PvP monsters in the game. And for many, many years, nobody had figured this out because she was an attacker, and an attacker that didn't really kill a lot of people. So that's why we look at every single part of the character, because there's definitely a lot of secrets to unpack. There's a lot of like little niche characteristics that characters can take advantage of that might not be present in present day, but that we might figure out in the future. So we have to look at everything, not just certain stats. With that out of the way, oh my god, okay, yes, talking. So those were pretty good. We have the average AoE, it's wind focused, but also an attack break on the enemy. Not really anything too special. I'm not nether enhancing this character 7 times in order to get a very minor attack buff in the beginning, so let's go ahead and exit out of her. Alright, next we have Kyoko Needleworker. These names. She looks like Melina from Mortal Kombat. Alright, every stat is pretty much on par, except the defense is kind of low. 2 negative resistances. Yikes! That is a big yikes. So basically, if they're doing star damage or wind damage to her, she's going to be taking a decent amount of damage. Her resistance isn't really anything to brag about, so she is quite the squish. Again, fist equipping members, damage dealt increase. When equipped with fists, increase of stats. Boots equipping members, defense and resistance plus 13%. Enemy with the highest action gauge minus 120 when a turn begins. So that's pretty cool. You could definitely pair her with some of the units that we saw yesterday with attack bar boosting and speed boosting, and using her on a boss to just pretty much prevent the boss from taking a turn. At the same time, again, you have to nether enhance her 7 times to even unlock that, so it's asking a lot. Area of effect 20 cost, that's great. Area of effect paralysis, that's pretty cool. Now, if you could get an area of effect paralysis on the enemy, you could potentially stop the enemy from moving, is what paralysis does, obviously, duh. But that is a very nice area of effect, and at a 35 cost, you could very realistically get that off turn 1 or turn 2 with the right setup. Single target forget, single target speed break, okay. Area of effect ice damage, single target speed break, and then single target sleep. A lot of single target stuff. She would be mostly used if she was Nether Enhanced +7 to prevent bosses from taking a turn. Not really feeling this one, but I do love the art of the character. That's no cap, dude. Miss Raspa Barrel. We see her in the story. Okay, so attack and defense super duper low, int and resistance pretty high. Not bad. Speed is pretty good. We have a chunk of fire resistance and a little bit of wind resistance, not really having too much trouble with ice or star, so that's always a bonus. Monster equipping members, int plus 18%. Monster equipping members, SP when a turn begins. Glasses equipping members, what is with the gear equipping members, dude? And self wind damage dealt plus 60%. I see that she deals wind damage pretty much with all of her abilities. That's a pretty big requirement to need to be Nether Enhanced so much. Single target myself, lesser heal for 15. Area of effect 45 cost with a minor attack break wind. Area of effect party int plus 30%. That's not bad. Okay, single 15. Speed break single target ally 55%. Area of effects would really be better for speed buffs, right? So it's not really good to have single target buffs. You pretty much want to buff everybody. But it is only a 15 cost, so that's something you could get off turn 1. And yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy. She will do a crap ton of wind damage, but any physical attack is really going to take her down a notch, dude. Nothing to sneeze at, but again, nothing to get excited about. So moving on. Love Oracle, indeed. Let's check it. I like the art of this character. HP meh, attack defense meh, int and resistance are okay, speed is okay. Resistance is in almost everything except star. And what else do we got? Humanoid members and plus 16. Self, SP plus 8 when a turn begins. So like we're doing with the Star Mage, the SP plus 7 when turn begins so that we can farm. She has SP plus 8 when a turn begins. So that is very, very nice. Also, all members heal by 6% of max HP when a turn begins. Very, very nice. Also, all members single target damage taken minus 12%, dude. Those are a lot of really good. These three, the humanoid int plus 16, you know, take it or leave it if you have humanoids. But these bottom three right here, dude, that is an ideal scenario to have this character Nether Enhanced +7 on your team, at least just for the buffs, right? Okay, we have a single target attack break and speed break, so that's something. And we have a party slight HP restoration and slight speed buff. So minor single target boss debuff and an area of effect minor party buff. That's really cool. This is also a party buff for intellect and defense 25% and a single target minor speed break with S rank damage. Wow, talk about being a support, dude. This is like God mode support. She also has an ally heal. She has an ally defense buff. These are all very low cost, by the way, so that's pretty cool too. We have an area of effect fire. All right, so that's something. 35 cost. We have a cleanse and a party heal. All in all, I think what I'm getting from her, how our Star Mage is our area of effect farmer, right? We're going to use the Star Mage to farm and deal damage. She's pretty much like the same thing, the same... Okay, how do you say this? The same concept, but with an opposite use. She's like an area of effect buffer, like an area of effect support. She'll be healing you, buffing you, debuffing enemies, and she does recover a massive chunk of SP every turn, so that you can definitely be getting off whichever one you choose to use. I would love to pull this character. I would love to pull the Love Oracle. Yeah, this she, he, whatever, I don't judge, looks awesome. I am interested in that. I will be keeping her up. Major Rita, she is a boss, and she definitely does some nonsense to you in the story. Again, low attack and defense. The thing about the low defense too is if you're like really worried about it, you could use your mana potions and stuff and your mana on increasing defense if you're just getting one shot by physical attacks. That's also a possibility. Very good int, pretty good resistance, very good speed. We have resistances in half of the elements. That's something. All members int plus 15%, no requirement. Self int plus 17%. If an enemy is down when a turn ends. So that is a requirement, even though, you know, I don't know, man, that's hit or miss. but I don't want to spend 10 minutes getting into that. If an enemy is down, then you get a buff. If you just started the fight, you get no buff, so it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Staff equipping members SP plus 10 when a turn begins, so you have to have a staff on. That's something. Enemy with the highest action gauge, defense and resistance minus 16% when a turn begins. So basically the enemy that's about to take a turn is going to get a defense and resistance debuff, so that after, I mean, if you could take him out, but before he gets his turn, that's great. But I see it's only one turn, which means if he has the highest action gauge and you put the debuff on him, then he takes his turn, it drops off. So hopefully if you could cut in between the enemy with the highest action gauge, then you could take advantage of that. Again, Nether Enhance plus 7. Nothing too great. Single target, 15 cost, resist debuffs. These are all resist debuffs. 85 cost, C+. What is that, dude? That's okay. Area of effect, 35 cost. Let's see. What else? 15 cost single, 5 cost resistance break, 15 cost, 55% resistance break. Pretty good. Area of effect, 35 cost. Area of effect, 45 cost, where you got the star element rolling with her. You know, sure, whatever. I'm not going for it, but if you were interested in her, I could see a couple uses where she might be a little bit effective. Especially if you were using a staff on her, then she gets that SP boost too, so that's something. Okay, who are you, guy? Character number 22. Who is character number 22? Almaz. Okay, y'all gotta update that. Nice HP, decent attack, nice defense, low int, whatever, and a decent resistance. Okay, speed is 50, could be better, could be worse. Resistance is in almost everything except for star, that's great. Humanoid members attack buff, self whenever you have a sword, attack and defense plus 27%. If you think about it, that's 52% stat increase just for having on a weapon, so even though you do have to, it's him too. If it's like the whole party has to be using a sword, that's kind of a no-go, but if it's just him, you could easily just put a sword on him. All members AoE damage taken minus 15%, and sword equipping members damaged up plus 15%. The all AoE damage reduction, that's pretty cool. Single target speed buff, alright, also does damage, obviously. Single target attack buff, okay, only 25% attack, but it does have an A+ rating, so that could do some decent damage. It is a 55 cost. Area of effects, minor defense break, 85 cost, rough. Okay, what do we got for magic? Single target defense buff, okay, for your ally. Single target defense break for the enemy. Oh wait, no. Area of effect, minor heal for the party, but it's a 35 cost. And then a single target defense buff and a single target defense break. Sure. If you have a defense heavy enemy and that's doing physical damage, you could protect your team with higher defense. You could lower the enemy's defense with that. But nothing's standing out too much to me, so let's go ahead and move on. Pure Sicily. Why does that sound like a city? Pure Sicily sounds like a city to me. Okay. HP is good. Attack is like low. Defense is super good. Int is ridiculous good. And resistance is pretty good too. We have resistances in absolutely every element. So, wow. Talk about being hard to kill. She has everything going for her in terms of HP, defense, resistance, and like actual attribute resistances. Very, very nice. All members, intellect and defense plus 13%. And she's also going to make her entire team tankier too. Staff, monster, and magic equipping members deal int-oriented normal attacks, resistance-oriented for defenders. This is another reason why people saying, hey, don't worry about the defense on a magic caster, don't worry about the resistance on a physical caster, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't make any sense, because look at this. This completely turns around the fields. That's actually pretty cool, but it's also some strange requirements. I guess you could do some theory crafting with the team to make that work. Staff and monster magic equip members, SP plus 7 whenever a turn begins. Staff, blah, 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 blah. Damage dealt by skills, 13%. Okay, single target int buff. Party defense buff and cleanse. Very good. Okay, that's a big one. Having an AoE cleanse is kind of the move. It's also a defense buff. That could potentially make her stay up here because of that ability specifically alone, making your entire team, you know, much more safe. Area of effect speed buff, and then a single target int buff that also does damage. These also do damage. Area of effect attack with a speed buff, and then a single target self int buff. These also do damage. We have an ally heal ability, an ally intellect plus ability. We have an area of effect lesser heal. We have an ally intellect buff, and we also have party lesser healing. So, yeah, okay, kind of supporty, kind of takes your team's, you know, priorities and swaps them up a little bit. So if you were, of course, having trouble trying to fit in some, you know, staff members or some monster magic equip monsters on your team because of a certain weakness, this might mitigate that weakness a little bit. For the area of effect cleanse, I'll keep her up there because I would like to pull an area of effect cleanse defense buff. That sounds fine to me. Character 58, Dark Artina. All right. Decent HP, attack is whatever, defense is low, int high, resist high, speed high. We have every single resistance covered on for attributes. That's cool. Again, staff equipping monsters, plus 16%. Member with the highest action gauge, int plus 40% when a turn ends. So whoever has like that buff, they get to do a little bit of extra damage for one turn. Area of effect damage dealt plus 15%. That's pretty cool. All members in plus 16% whenever a turn begins. She's like buffing your magic casters, making them do more damage. We have a 20 cost area of effect, so that's something. She doesn't seem to recover SP any other way. So you, just like, you know, Disgaea or something, you only get to use it a couple times before you have to start using other stuff for physical attacks. We have a single target poison attack break. We have an area of effect minor attack break and a single target big damage resistance minor break. Okay. Single target ice, single target res break, single target res break, area of effect ice. I can't think. Okay, and another area of effect ice. She looks cool. I'll give her that. She looks cool. I don't think that I would be too excited to have her on my team. Bunny Seraphina. Okay, Bunny Seraphina, what do we got? Really good HP, good attack, good defense, decent int, and good resistance. We are looking at half of the attributes not doing too much to us, too. That's pretty good. Humanoid members, all stats, plus % except speed. Bow equipping members, damaged up by skills. Self-damage taken from fist equipping, and then boots equipping members, dude. What are these requirements? So if you want to take full advantage of this kit, not saying that you shouldn't be wearing boots or whatever, like you absolutely should, but what if your character doesn't have boots? You have to have boots on, the enemy has to be a fist enemy, you have to have a bow equipped, and you also have to be a humanoid. That's a lot. That's asking a lot, dude. So all of these could potentially be useless depending on your team. Okay, single target, super duper minor speed break, damage. Party immune to sleep and immune to paralysis. Wowza. That's a cool one. SP cost is 25, but that's a good one. So it's like you don't get to use it, you know, every turn. Not that you would need to use that every turn, but that's pretty cool. Area of effect defense break, 60 cost though, and then a single minor attack buff, a little bit of damage. Wind 15 single target. Area of effect attack buff for your team. Oh wait, no, just single target. Single target attack buff for a teammate. Area of effect 35 cost wind. Area of effect 45 cost wind. So the selling thing I'm seeing for her is immune to sleep and immune to paralysis. That being said, those are like the immobility debuffs, right? You can still be poisoned or whatever. So Sicily, I think Sicily might, you know, she's on par kind of with her. It's hard. It's actually hard for me to tell which one would be better. But basically, if you wanted pure Sicily, you should probably be just as happy pulling Bunny Seraphina. Let's look at Easter Mao. Okay, what's that? Mayo Mao, whatever. Good HP, low attack, good defense, decent, whatever. Medium good defense, decent int, good resistance, low speed, pretty slow, 49 right there. Also weak to fire. What? Come on, man. Self, int plus 32 when battle begins. Okay, that's a self buff for 3 turns, not bad. Male enemies, defense resistance minus 14%. Self, damage taken from humanoids, and glasses equipping members. Again, as the same thing that we got going on with some of the other dudes. It's a lot of requirements to ask for, man. I don't know about that. 20 cost area of effect with a minor resistance break, so that's something. Immune to forget and immune to poison. So he basically, right off the bat, is going to be in the same boat as Pure Sicily and Bunny Seraphina. If you have these 3 on your team, dude, then you're immune to everything. You're just immune to all of it. Yeah, so that's cool. Area of effect, defense buff, and then a single intellect buff that is a big damage attack, 65 cost, though. Single target, ice. Single target speed buff, area of effect, ice. That's all he's really got going for him. So, same boat as the other two, man. If you wanted to be immune to poison, and what was the other one that he was talking about? Forget. This is a good dude to do that. So, these 3 are like situational supports, basically. Now, don't get me wrong, whenever they come out with like a character that's like immunity against debuffs, all of these guys are going to be outdated at that point because their only use is really 2 debuffs each. There probably will be just immunity debuff eventually. Wow, you look cool, Red Magnus. Okay, let's check you out. He looks very, very cool. The HP, dude. The HP is nuts. The attack is good. The defense is really good. Int and resistance, so you would probably have to pump a little bit of mana into resistance to make sure you don't get absolutely tossed, especially by these attributes. Wind and ice. Yeesh. That's 2 attributes that could potentially take him out. The lower the HP, the higher boost on attack and defense up to 70%. If you ever played Summoners where this is like Trevor, this can be very, very good. A lot of the times you see some extremely high numbers because the lower your HP gets, the harder it is to kill him because his defense is higher. He also does a lot more damage, so if you like Hit him and he lives with that little bit of HP, dude. That's GG. He's about to sit and freaking whop the crap out of you with an attack that just has these multipliers that are increased by 70%. Axe equipping members, muscle equipping members, HP, damage, and attack. So as long as you're wearing, some muscle and you're using an axe, then that's great for whatever, situational. Single target 25 cost. He has a minor attack buff with that attack. Area of effect defense break, but 35 cost. 85 cost area of effect defense break. Yeesh. And then the magic spells. The problem with the magic is his int is so low, you would have to pump in some magic into him to make these work. Looks like we got single target defense buff, single target attack buff, single target speed buff. And yeah, so a lot of buffs right there. Oh man, what a waste of stats, dude. These stats are so nice, but like the kit... Oh, he doesn't even have that good of power on these attacks, man. That's such a shame. Maybe he'll get buffed, but the stats are super duper nice, so that's something. What a shame, dude. I was hoping he would be like insane. And Verunga, however you say this, whatever. Last dude we'll look at for today. So, decent attack, pretty much mediocre in everything. In terms of defense and resistance, that's average or above. Star resistance, everything else is just, regular damage. Bow equipping members, area of effect damage dealt in all stats except for speed buff. Okay, self magical damage taken minus 50%, and self damage dealt to monsters plus 45%. So it's going to be a rough time killing him with magic attacks if he is that nether enhanced. Okay, situational, but very good in a certain situation. The thing about situational things is they're still good in a certain situation, right? Like, does that make... Obviously, that makes sense, but... Single target, 15 cost, E+. A party, slight restore HP and slightly increased resistance. And an area of effect, minor attack break. The multipliers on these don't look too great. And in terms of magic, we have single target, we have a single target attack break, and we have an area of effect, 35 cost. Whatever. With single target attack break again, and then an area of effect, 45 cost. Nada. Okay, so I will cut that here because I've been recording for a long time. I will try and edit it down to like less than 30 minutes for you. I'm sure that'll be fine. We'll look at these last like 7 dudes. I'm excited to look at this dude. This dude looks pretty cool. We'll look at him soon. Let's take a look at what he's gonna look like, dude. He looks pretty cool. I hope he's really good. I don't want spoilers, dude. I'll be looking at him later. Okay, so that's gonna do it for today. Again, if you're interested in one of those re-rolled accounts, I know that a lot of people lost their accounts. I will be re-rolling, I'll just be doing that and then posting it in Discord Friday, whenever Friday rolls around. If you want one of those re-rolled accounts, comment under the video Friday with the code of the account you want, and then we'll roll them off on Monday. I'll just hand them out. Join the Discord, PM me, I'll PM you back, give you the info. All right, and in order to do that, you have to join my Discord. But don't be sensitive because we have new players and veteran players, and they're alike that just like to, we just help each other out. But don't be sensitive because we like to have fun. Just drop a joke, And other than that, that's gonna do it for me today. I'll see y'all later. Bye.